Hi guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonal's life. So it has been a crazy few weeks, but we are finally at the end of the New Japan Dontaku tour. Now, so much has happened. There's been some amazing matches, some changes to the card, some storylines leading up into the next few big shows, and as always, I am here to talk through all of them, my ups and downs, and yeah, just discuss what's happened during this Dontaku tour. So let's get going. So, as I've said in previous videos, this Dontaku tour has been very long. We've had a lot of Road 2 shows, we've had the Satsuma no Kuni shows, and there has been some amazing title matches. So one of the first big matches was for the Never Six-Man titles, and it was the team of Goto, Ishi and Yoshihashi versus the Bullet Club trio of Kenta, Ishimori and Udero. Now, this was a very good feud going forward. We had Ishimori had beat Goto, which is a big thing. We've had Ishi and Udero having their battles, and the big one, it was Yoshihashi and Kenta for his bow staff. Now, going in, I didn't really know what to expect. Like, there are some amazing athletes in that match. We know how good Ishi is, Goto. Kenta's been phenomenal recently, and Ishimori. Even Yoshihashi has been proving himself time and time again. But you know what? Even Udero put a lot of work into this match. And I saw something today that they are now the second longest reigning Never champions with over 200 days. And one of the reasons why they are so good is because of matches like this. They are able to bring something out of their opponents. The Chaos Trio has got this heart and passion that they are these fighting warriors. And even Bullet Club, who with all of their shenanigans, even they cannot help but put on an amazing match. It was a lot of fun as well because we did have this whole thing with the bow staff. And because it's the Never titles and we had Ishimori in it, there was so much light and shade. So you had the speed of Ishimori, the more ground game of the guys like Ishi, Goto and Kenta, and then you had Yoshihashi and Udero, who were just a bit of everything. And in the end, not only did the Chaos Trio win, but Yoshihashi got his bow staff back. And the funniest thing was afterwards, and Kenta was like, I didn't like the bow staff anyway, which, come on, we know that he loved it. And I really keep my fingers crossed that Goto, Ishii and Yoshihashi keep the titles for a long time, and that we get to see them now shine as individuals, because I have voiced this, like, Ishii and Goto are two of the most underrated guys in the entire roster. And you know what, fingers crossed for Ishimori as well, because like I said, I love them all, and it was just a phenomenal match. We then had some amazing singles matches. So we had, as I said in the preview, there was the battle for the Iron Fingers between Tama Tonga and Taichi, and the singles match between Tanga Loa and Zack Sabre Jr., where they basically was like, if Zack doesn't win, he doesn't get a shot at the title. And these two matches sort of worked together, and they were great. Like, Tanga Loa and Zack, I didn't know what to expect from it. I've always said these guys are two completely different people. Like, Tanga Loa is this big, strong man, whereas Zack is this udon noodle. Like, if you watch the post-match comments, I think he called himself every name under the sun, including the udon guy. And he is the udon guy. But, yeah, in the end, if you've not seen it, spoiler, Zack actually won. He didn't tap him out, but throughout, it was really nice to see both guys sort of mix up their offense. So, I've said this before, Zack has now started using an amazing Tornado DDT, which is something we don't expect. He continued targeting Tanga Loa's arm during the match, which we all know is his big strong point. And once you disarm Tanga Loa's power, you really, really damage his offense. And the funny thing is, after the match when Tanga Loa lost, he said he had a lot of fun, and so did I. I didn't expect to love this match as much as I did. And I'd love to see them wrestle again and again. So as good as that match was, I am sort of a bit on the fence for the next one. And it was Tama Tonga versus Taichi in a ladder match for the Iron Fingers. Why? It's only the second ever ladder match New Japan has had. And it was okay. For me, you could tell that unlike maybe guys in WWE, they have not had experience with it. The storytelling was great. We had Tanga Loa, Zack Sabre Jr., Doki and Jado all involved. But as in a wrestling match itself, it wasn't great. But for me, it has proved that Taichi can be an amazing babyface. Like, even when he finally won the match and got the iron fingers, it felt like you were watching maybe a guy from Hontai or Chaos. And as much as I love Suzuki-gun as heels, they work perfectly as babyfaces against the Bullet Club, and I'd love to see it. So another match for me that I absolutely loved, and you're gonna know this, it is Jay White versus Tanahashi for the Never title. Over the years, their careers are intertwined. When Jay White returned from excursion, the first person he challenged was Tanahashi. Since then, they wrestled in tournaments for the IC title, for the heavyweight title, for literally everything under the sun. And the build up to this was amazing, even though Jay wasn't there for a lot of it. It was basically just two guys, two alpha males, arguing about who's got better abs, which I'm not gonna... Jay wins for that. But yeah, they have had match after match, and this is just another amazing chapter to their story. It went around, I think, nearly 30 minutes, but it was so diverse, and actually, for me, one of my favourite Jay White matches ever. Mainly because if you saw it, you would have seen that maybe apart from one little thing at the end from Goto, it was such a clean match. Like, the two guys properly wrestled for all of that time. There was Tanahashi going for his big moves, so the dragon screws, Jay sticking to his more ground offense. And what I like is they were both targeting each other's body parts. Jay wanted to tap Tanahashi out with his TTO, and even Tanahashi was there trying to weaken Jay's legs. And for me, you could see at one point they were both exhausted because they literally gave their heart and soul into this match. And in particular, it was one of those matches that my eyes were glued to the screen, not just because it's two of my favourite wrestlers. It was a match that perfectly combined psychology, perfect wrestling and storytelling, which is something that they do so well. And in the end, Jay cemented his legacy in New Japan by winning the Never title, and as he said in the post-match comments, he's now the first man to ever have won the IWGP Heavyweight title, the IWGP Intercontinental title, the IWGP United States title, and the Never title. Like, my guy is the actual belt collector. All he needs to do is form a tag team and then drop some weight, and then he's got literally every belt in the company. But yeah, I was a bit worried going into this match because I thought, can it live up to the other matches they've had? The answer is yes. And yeah, it's going to be probably one of my favourite matches of the year. And I'd happily watch it again and again. So the next match was another one with my favourites. It was Roppongi 3K versus Kanemaru and Desperado for their IWGP Junior Tag titles. Yes, I've seen this match 1,000 times before. Yes, I complain about it. Am I ever going to get tired of seeing it? No. This might have actually been one of my favourite matches of theirs that I've ever seen. The four guys, I can't even say anymore how talented they are. There was literally so much action in this. You had Yo's Japanese style, Sho's strength, Despi's smart, and Kanemaru's athleticism. And I feel like each time they come out and they have these matches that we've seen all so many times, they bring out something new. And I just watched it in awe, thinking yes, there are a lack of teams in the junior division, but even if there was a jam-packed roster, these four guys would be at the top of it. And yes, I love Despi and Kanemaru, but I'm very happy that Sho and Yo retained the titles because it keeps that momentum going that they lost when Yo suffered his injury last year. And maybe we're finally going to have some consistency with the titles. But I think the big thing with this match, I was excited because it was meant to be leading up for Yo versus Desperado. And obviously with the pandemic, it turns out that two members from, we don't know for sure, from either Chaos or Suzuki-gun caught COVID, and they had to rearrange the card. And that meant that I didn't get to see my dream match between those two. But fingers crossed, we've got a lot of shows coming up and hopefully we'll get to see it soon. But now we're on to the final big title match. And all I can say was this: I've been watching New Japan for nearly 4 years now, and it's probably one of the best wrestling matches I've ever watched. Kevin Kelly, I watched his English commentary. He said he's called Okada versus Omega. Tanahashi versus Okada, Jay versus Ibushi, and it was his favourite match, and I can't disagree. It was Shingo Takagi versus Will Osprey for Osprey's IWGP World Heavyweight title. Where do I even start with this match? We have seen these guys wrestle so many times in the Best of Super Junior, in G1s, and this just tops them all. It was 44 minutes, but there was no time to stand still. There was action from literally the second the bell rang. Both guys were full on, and it's almost like I can't give justice to it by speaking about it. There was some amazing spots. There was reverse ranas, done by Shingo, by the way. There was a moment where I think Shingo, did he do a DDT, or he did some move to Osprey and hit him into a table. Osprey, obviously, Spanish flies, his chops. I never realised this, but Osprey has blistering chops. Like, he was hitting Takagi, and I thought I was there with the amount it echoed in the room. I say it was full of action, but there was a really nice light and shade to it. There was times where the guys were doing a very quick athletic offense. There was times where they were more ground-based, where they went outside, and their personalities shined. They combined the storytelling. So Osprey would sometimes go out and kiss the title, or he'd look over to the Empire members who didn't get involved. Shingo would have this rejuvenation, and because Osprey properly gave it to Shingo. Like, there was a moment where I was like, I don't know if Shingo's gonna do this, but it just proved how hard hitting the match was. And talking about that, towards the end there was a moment where I think like Shingo was out. He'd had a hidden blade to him, and suddenly out of nowhere he had this new sense of energy. This happened a few times throughout. Osprey would give him all of his offense, and he'd just absorb it. And even at one point he hit his head on the turnbuckle to like hype himself up. And I feel like I'm just blabbering, but honestly, if you haven't watched any matches from Dontaku, go out, spend 45 minutes and watch that match, because it was honestly amazing. And I love Shingo, and I've always been a fan of Osprey despite everything that's happened. But they are not two of my favourites, and even I've got to say, it might just be the best wrestling match I've ever seen. And I know a lot of people will probably agree with me. So yeah, it was probably the best way to end a very interesting tour, with some ups, downs, being subjected to the environment that we're in right now. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a great set of matches throughout, and I got to see all of my favourite wrestlers. Going forward, it's a very iffy tour. And going forward, it's not very certain at the moment. We know that there's been shows cancelled because of the state of emergency in Japan. So yeah, I know it was a bit of babbling in this video, but it was such an amazing tour. And make sure to let me know what you think in the comments. What were your favourite matches? Who stood out for you? What are you looking forward to going forward? As always, make sure to like, share, and click that subscribe button. It is nearly the year anniversary of this channel, and I'm almost on 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully you guys can help me get to that before that time. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!